Hello, guys. Today we are going to talk about a very nice book called Opium Nation: Child Brides, Drug Lords, and One Woman's Journey Through Afghanistan by author Fariba Nawa. This was one brilliant book. It was a memoir, actually, and even the world's most famous American Afghan author Khalid Hosseini has praised it. This book is basically about Afghanistan. Okay, it's basically about a reporter called Fariba Nawa who is from Afghanistan, and she is living in Afghanistan during the 1970s. But then the Soviets invade Afghanistan and she has to leave her country and go to the United States of America, to California, where she takes an asylum and starts living there. Anyways, so uh, the book is all based about Afghanistan and about this lady's journey and struggle to go between the two countries. Okay, so her family leaves Afghanistan because the Soviets have invaded and there's chaos and destruction everywhere. So the woman is called Fariba Nawa, who has written for many magazines and newspapers and is a writer. Okay, so after 20 years later, she comes back to her homeland, Afghanistan, to discover what's happening here. Okay, so that's what happens in the book, guys. And she tries to, she is in search of a little girl who has been made a child bride, and she's trying to search where she is. So, as the title suggests, Opium Nation, it's about Afghanistan. As you might know, that Afghanistan is the country which produces the most opium in the world, and it is known for that. Okay, so the whole book revolves around Afghanistan and opium and drugs and trade and stuff like that. Okay, okay. So this book is basically about the Afghan people. Okay, what happens next is that uh, the reporter, the author Fariba Nawa, expresses her feelings for the country and about herself, and she talks about Afghanistan, as I told you before. In the book, she writes that more than 90% of the opium in the world comes from Afghanistan, which is a fact, guys. uh, and it ends up in Canada and America. It ends up on the streets of New York or Los Angeles, stuff like that. And the opium is exported and it goes all over the world and it comes from Afghanistan. Okay, okay. What happens next is that it's about the Taliban. uh, it's about Al Qaeda, it's about the Taliban, it's about Afghanistan, it's about Pakistan. It's all to do with Taliban and how they oppress women and don't give them equal rights. Okay. It's about how the Taliban was founded in 1994 and about all the atrocities and crimes they commit. It's basically about Afghanistan and the Taliban. Okay. So, the whole book revolves around Fariba Nawa and the Taliban and Afghanistan and stuff like that. Okay, so the author Fariba Nawa, who is originally from Afghanistan, has given a very good and beautiful picture and depiction of Afghanistan under the Taliban and about how they oppress women and don't let girls study or go to school or do anything that they can, and about the oppression of women in Afghanistan. This is one of the best books I've read, and a very good book on Afghanistan, guys. Actually, okay. So the whole book revolves around the opium trade of Afghanistan, and it revolves around the Taliban. Okay, it's about heroin, it's about drugs, it's about the Taliban, it's about the Soviet Union, it's about the Taliban, it's about all that stuff. So, in the end, the author Fariba Nawa uh, goes uh, to find the child bride that she had found and to get her justice. It's about how she goes to Afghanistan, being an American woman, and she gives details about the country, Afghanistan, Kabul, Taliban, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, she is basically an Afghan American. Okay, she talks about poppy farmers, corrupt officials, expats, drug lords, and um, drug addicts, including her encounter with a 12-year-old girl bride who was paid off, who was sold to pay off her father's opium debts. So the whole, as I told you guys before, that the whole book revolves around Afghanistan, Taliban, and about how the Taliban mistreat women and don't let them go to school and create a lot of problems for them. So I think what happens in the end is that the woman Fariba Nawa goes back to the United States of America where she came from, but she is very worried about her country, which is Afghanistan, and about the Taliban. Okay, and the girl who she is trying to save is called Daraya. Okay, so this was one brilliant book about Afghanistan and one of the most good books I've read in my life. It was a memoir about Afghanistan, about how drugs from Afghanistan end up in America and Canada, and about the opium trade in Taliban and Afghanistan. Bye, guys.